have this like speculation, or like I imagine in my head when I'm like simulating, like I'm thinking about how things might have used to be. I think of like little schoolhouses where the most complicated thing that was invented was like, I don't know, the wheel or something, or like the horse and buggy, and like basic arithmetic, you know? And so like the teachers, like everybody could comprehend like the limits of science and technology. Like it was just very clear, like once you learned it, like you could kind of understand it for yourself. But we've gotten to the point where everything is so complicated that the framing when you're learning something new in school, you know, I think of it as like a contrast between like we versus they. Like the scientists and technologists are they out there, and they come up with all the cool stuff, and then whereas before it was like we humans came up with all this cool stuff and we can learn about it and you can stand on the shoulders of giants, etc. And so the framing is that you like it distances you from the cutting edge of like human understanding. And so that, I think that just kind of encourages stagnation, because it's never like, it doesn't give you this sense of inspiration, like it's never like, oh, I wonder what like they missed out on, I wonder what they misunderstood, like the cutting edge mathematicians or physicists or like scientists or technologists or engineers, I wonder what they're not understanding that I could go in and understand and improve everybody's, you know, life and value or whatever. But I think if you, well, I don't know, I don't even know if I want to have like a message. I mean, I just kind of want to complain about the attitude that seems prevalent. Because I think if more people realized that understanding is very fragile, theories are very fragile, science and technology is very fragile, specialists are not necessarily more equipped than the average person to discover any truth about reality. Because if you think about it, I mean, it's just like with, I'll make an analogy to trailblazing here. I make this trail, this used to be all weeds and bushes and trees and shit. You know, I make some fun discoveries of my own along the way that nobody's ever told me about. I never learned about calacarpa or whatever, or like violet dragonflies. I never learned about. I saw some like oil or gasoline maybe in the creek the other day, or something from like discharge or waste. Like, my point is, if I'm just walking through shit that's already been made, like with cars, right? Like all the roads are kind of like they've been defined, and you only ever drive on roads. You never really drive through like a forest, or drive just over like wilderness or off-road to get to where you want to go. That's conceptually what education does. Like it creates these kind of like highways where they're like, these are the established theories that you need to accept. This is the physics standard that you're supposed to believe in. Doesn't matter if it makes sense to you or if it fits your intuition. This is what we like institutionally, and this is the work that's being done. And so this is what everybody's meant to believe. And this, I think, is kind of reinforced by the fact that that's naturally how education frames itself from an early age, because all the human understanding was already all the theories were already too complicated by the time that you were in elementary school, so that even your teachers they couldn't possibly hope to understand like the cutting edge of science and philosophy and physics and whatever, technology, engineering, etc., art. So the framing is always just like, we're so limited, we can only hope to just kind of calculate and execute what all of the geniuses have figured out for us. And it's never an attitude of, let's try to deeply understand where these theories come from, how they can be improved, what's wrong with them. That's an attitude that attitude of criticism and like trying to have deep understanding of things. It's an attitude that you're kind of left on your own to cultivate. And most of the time the pressure is against you. Like, if you ever come up with something heterodox, for some reason, like, the natural instinct is to criticize something that's heterodox rather than to criticize whatever's orthodox. But obviously, I mean, that's super backwards, because whatever's the orthodoxy, whatever's the standard, should be able to hold up to more criticism. And so it deserves to be criticized more seriously and more aggressively. Like new and different ideas, heterodox ideas, they should be almost like given like a grace period or attitude or something, where you should try to find out where they're correct first. You should treat them like little babies or something, because if you know anything about, like, if you've ever tried to debate people, you'll realize that you can come up with an argument that proves pretty much anything, or maybe not proves, but rationalizes any idea. You can make anything seem believable, and you can also deconstruct anything and make it unbelievable. I think lawyers probably understand this the most, because obviously you have defense and prosecution for every single case that's ever happened, right? Which kind of implies like that either side could win the case, regardless of what you think the underlying truth is. I mean, why do you think that any progress should be made if people are just conceptually going down the same paths that are already there and have been there for decades or centuries? I'm gonna go into the forest here. I've been making various forest trails. The one that I've been working on recently is by the creek here. Initially I was doing this kind of trail, and I want to keep doing a trail through my pond, or kind of behind my pond a little bit. And I was kind of cutting my teeth there. I was getting my bearings on figuring out how to use my tools, because I asked Grok and Jippity how I can make a trail. Because initially I was going at it with frickin' like a hatchet, like a basic ass hatchet, and that was kind of, wasn't really cutting it. So you're gonna want loppers. I mean, if you're doing trail work, trailblazing, as I like to call it, You're gonna want some loppers, you're gonna want some shears. Because don't get me wrong, I'm a technology guy. You know, I'm a computer nerd, computer guy. I'm a computer guy. I like all the gizmos and gadgets. I like AI. I like medicine. I like refrigerators. I like pencils. I like technology. But there's something you can't really capture, something kind of intangible about getting out in that nah, you know, that nature, that Nate, and sitting on a pile of rocks and seashells and drinking brown water. Oh, that's right. I was gonna get B-reel of the creek running.
With the pot outside a little bit, you better be ready. And the dog in the pot, better be ready. At the time I just hand color berry. I brought up for your cousin. And about it,